The Snail and the Whale by Julia Donaldson and Alex Scheffler. This is a tale of a tiny snail and a great big grey-blue humpback whale. This is a rock as black as soot, and this is a snail with an itchy foot. The sea snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. As she gazed, she sniffed and sighed. The sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail, said the tiny snail. These are the other snails in the flock, who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock, and said to the snail with the itchy foot, "Be quiet, don't wriggle, sit still, stay put." But the tiny sea snail sighed and sniffed, then cried, "I've got it, I'll hitch a lift." This is the trail of the tiny snail, a slivery trail that looped and curled and said, "Lift wanted around the world." This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright, a humpback whale immensely long, who sang to the snail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves. And this is the tale of the humpback whale. He held it out of the starlit sea and said to the snail, "Come sail with me." This is the sea, so wild and free, that carried the whale and the snail on his tail to towering icebergs and far-off lands, with fiery mountains and golden sands. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed, the tiny snail and the tail of the whale. These are the caves beneath the waves, where stripy fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins swam round the whale and the snail on his tail. This is the sky, so vast and high, sometimes sunny and blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm, with zigzag lightning flashing and frightening the tiny snail and the tail of the whale. As she gazed at the sky, the sea, the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand, she gazed and gazed, amazed by it all, and she said to the whale, "I feel so small." But then came the day the whale lost his way. There are the speedboats running a race, zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar, making him swim too close to the shore. This is the tide slipping away. And this is the whale lying beached in a bay. "Quick, off the sand, back to the sea," cried the snail. "I can't move on land, I'm too big," moaned the whale. The snail felt helpless and terribly small. Then, "I've got it," she cried, and started to crawl. "I must not fail," said the tiny snail. This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. This is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, "Sit straight, don't talk." This is the board as black as soot, and this is the snail with the itchy foot. "A snail! A snail!" The teacher turns pale. "Look," say the children, "it's leaving a trail." This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail saying, "Save the whale." These are the children running from school, fetching the firemen digging a pool, squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. This is the tide coming into the bay, and these are the villagers shouting hooray as the whale and the snail travel safely away. Back to the dock and the flock on the rock, who said, "How time's flown, and haven't you grown?" And the whale and the snail told their wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves, and of how the snail, so small and frail, with her looping, curling, silvery trail, saved the life of the humpback whale. Then the humpback whale held out his tail, and on crawled snail after snail after snail. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tail of the grey-blue humpback whale. The end. Hi guys! We had another fantastic Julia Donaldson book. I know everyone in Crash loves them, and I love them too. They're so fantastic, and I love all the little rhymes. And they always have a lovely message behind the story, which I think is very important that we can learn from the books and the stories that we read. So for the activities today, we have some under the sea counting activities and some pencil controls, because we know the snail and the whale went on great adventures all over the world, and they sailed all over the sea and saw loads of lovely creatures and loads of beautiful things that they wouldn't have seen whenever they saw at home. So we get to practice our pencil controls. That's whenever you put your pencil on the line and you kind of trace the line. That really helps with your writing, and it's going to really help whenever you're in big school and are writing stories or whatever fantastic ideas you have in your head. You can write them down on a piece of paper so everyone can read them and say, that's a great idea. So that will help you with that. And then there are some counting activities, which I know you're all very good at. And then the last one, there is a little book that your mommies and daddies can help you read. It's all about being different and how fantastic being different is, because in our story, the snail thinks that he's too small to make a difference, or he just thinks he's too small and he doesn't love being different. He'd like to be as big as the whale, because he looks at this whale and he's like, wow, you're so big, you can do so many things. But then in the end, the snail is able to save the whale because of his size, and he realizes that he's very special, and he's special because he's different and everyone can do different things. So the book is a great book about how brilliant it is to be different. It has pictures of loads of different children of different races, of different colours, different abilities, different size, different height, hair colours different, what food they like is different, what sports they like are different. So it would be kind of boring if we were all the same. So this is just a book that shows everyone how special it is to be different and how important it is to just like what you like. And it doesn't matter what anyone says, it's just important to be you and to be happy about being you, because you're fantastic and you're brilliant. And yeah, that's the main thing. Just know that you're great, and know that everyone is different and everyone is special and brilliant. So hope you enjoy that book. I will definitely be bringing it into creche and reading it, and we'll be talking about all the differences that make us fantastic. And so have fun with that, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.